Oh my gosh, it's a sunny day and the sky is bright. Chickens in the mist, everything is right. No need to make plans cause I'm not a book.
Man, I was into hip hop when like Planet Rock came out. So I was like 14, 13. Really Rapper's Delight. That was really the first one. And that was, I guess I was in 6th grade or 5th grade when that came out. So goddamn, I was 11 or 12. And then I kind of lost my interest for a minute. And I heard Planet Rock and it bugged me out. I was about 14. Planet Rock caught me, and that's when I like rap from then on. When I had like my first job, I was an office messenger at Rush Productions. But those guys would always ask me what was hot, what was banging, what records were ill. And I would go to Latin Quarters and like hang out with Red Alert. I was like 19, 20 years old. So I knew what was popping and what wasn't. So I like knew what an A&R guy was. I was like 20 years old, office messenger, and I was like, I'm gonna get that job. So I got that job. I worked for Rush Productions, but I helped out at Def Jam, so I never really worked there, contrary to popular belief. But I was part of the family. I worked at Tommy Boy, where I worked with a bunch of groups, De La Soul, Latifah, some other stuff, Stetson Sonic, and my man Daddy O, God bless. I also then I worked at Elektra. I worked there for a long time. I worked there for 7, 8 years. Signed a lot of groups there. Busta Rhymes, Old Dirty Bastard, rest in peace. Leaders of the New School when Busta was in the band. KMD, who became MF Doom. Who else? I'm forgetting somebody. Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Who else? Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I'm sorry, I'm bugging out. And also, though I never worked at Def Jam, I basically A&R'd the Third Base records and helped those guys make the records. I produced a bunch of them too. So for me, it's like there was maybe more of a heartfelt belief in talent involved. I didn't really base it on what was popping in South Dakota and shit. I based it on what I felt, what I saw. And a lot of times, bands that I found, they had a pre-existing career. They already had some form of notoriety, whether it was in the streets from making music or from me seeing them live or them being affiliated with a rapper I knew. So it was a different form of A&R than what people do now. Not right is your new A&R. That, basically made a lot of these cats obsolete. And dudes are just reading SoundScan anyway and looking at original BDS. So a lot of stuff is hype driven now. So I don't disrespect the game. Power to everybody, but there's not that much pure A&R really done anymore, and not that much artist development. One of the few people who probably does it, pretty much does it for himself, is Kanye West. I started a brand consulting company a couple of years ago, and it evolved into a full-time job. So I have a job working in apparel, which I've done for the past few years. I'm a vice president of marketing at Famous Stars and Straps. And because there's a musical element to a lot of the consulting I do, I kind of involve myself in music that way more. Working on a TV show, worked on one already, building the brand, putting my record out, writing a book with my father, which I'm almost done with. That'll come out in February 2012. It's a pretty epic book, and my dad's a pretty famous writer. It's the 16th book he's published. So Knopf's gonna put it out. We're finishing that. I've been taking a lot of time doing that. That's pretty important to me. It's gonna be the first book I ever published. And building a brand, just working with travel out on a bunch of shit and just traveling back and forth and having a good time.